welcome to our very first episode of our senior spotlights for the stagecraft and workshop students. Today we're going to begin with Deanna and Logan. So, our very first victim is Deanna. Alright, so how have you grown since you first walked into school in your freshman year?
So, in my freshman year, I feel like I walked into school with sort of closed-minded mindset. I feel like I expected a lot from myself, and no matter what it took, I was just going to get good grades in school and get to a good place where I get to a good college. And I feel like throughout high school I sort of went easier on myself, and I learned that there were more important things in school, including my own health and having a good group of friends to go to. So I feel like I've grown in that way.
Alright, so the second question is, how was high school different than what you expected it to be?
So I learned about high school through Nickelodeon and Disney shows, and just coming home and watching my sisters do homework for hours. So I was expecting high school to be really intense and really pressured, but I honestly didn't feel that. I felt like it was just a bunch of people going to school every day, having some fun, and just getting work done. Sometimes. Depends on the class.
Okay, so what's a day you won't forget from high school?
The day that I won't forget from high school is probably the day that I finished my first AP test, because I remember walking out of there a 3-hour test that summarized an entire year's worth of information and just feeling so accomplished and this is the first adult thing that I've done in high school. And then I spent the rest of the day with my friends, and I remember just feeling so accomplished at doing that type of test and getting it done and having my friends there with me.
Okay, so I know you were involved in theater a lot, so what was your favorite show you were involved in and why?
So my favorite show that I was involved in was the first one that I was involved in, actually. It was called Don't Drink the Water, and I had a small part in it, but I think the funnest part about it was that it was my first time learning everything about theater, how shows worked, how mystery directed. I remember just thinking this is what I want to do for the next 4 years in my high school experience, and it just really inspired me to do that.
Okay, and for our very final question for you, what's something that you will take with you from your high school experience into your future?
Something that I'll take with me from my high school experience into the future is just that everyone struggles, and it's a truth, and the sooner that you accept that and just realize that it's always going to be a part of life, then the sooner that you can sort of just be easier on yourself when you are struggling, and just be there for your friends when they're struggling too, and just to know that everything will pass in time. Yeah, well, thank you for interviewing me.
You're welcome. Up next is Logan. So welcome, Logan. We're gonna get started. How have you grown since you first walked into the school in your freshman year?
Anyway, so I've grown from freshman year, just realizing the fact that school isn't there just to stop you from having fun. It's there to actually help you progress and stuff. And when I walked in my freshman year, that's what I thought about school. It was it's pointless, it doesn't matter. But now it's my senior year, and I regret thinking that my freshman year, because if I didn't do that, then I probably would have gotten involved in more things, and I feel like that would have been better than just coasting through, which is I guess what I did. But yeah, I've learned to accept that school is not pointless.
And that's really good advice too. How was high school different than what you expected it to be?
Well, I learned about high school through my brother, and my brother just basically took AP classes from his freshman to his senior year. And so what I thought high school was I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it actually ended up being. I thought I was going to be up for 5 hours a day just doing homework, and then going to bed at 1 o'clock, waking up and doing it again the next. But it really wasn't like that. There's classes where you don't get any homework, and there's classes where the only homework that you do get is 2 things of reading a chapter and then taking notes kind of thing. But that's, yeah. So it's not as hard as you think it will be, I guess.
Alright, so what's a day from high school that you won't forget?
A day from high school that I won't forget. It would have to be the day where we had to get sheltered in place because the wind broke the glass in the lunchroom, if you remember that. Yeah, so the wind broke the glass in the lunchroom, and it was just after the 4th period class, which was at that time was the stagecraft class. And so it was me, Nadia, Jalen, Emma, and then 2 other kids. I don't remember their names. Just sat there in Mr. Reed's office with Mr. Reed for the rest of the day. And we just kind of messed around the whole time because it's the costume closet is in there. You just got to have fun the entire time. That's a day I won't forget.
That's great. So, like you said, you were involved in theater a lot. Okay, so what was your favorite show you were involved in and why?
I'd have to say the favorite show that I was involved in would have been Almost Maine. For the reason that in that show I got to learn how to actually like properly stage combat, I guess is how you would call it. Because in that show I got hit in the head with an ironing board multiple times, and on most occasions when I got hit in the head, it was not the proper way of stage hitting somebody. So I genuinely, like, when I fell off the bench in that show, because I get hit, I fell off the bench. So one of the times that I did it, I genuinely like got knocked off the bench. And yeah, so like I learned how to properly do that, like what it feels like to not do that, and then yeah, it's just an overall fun experience, that show. That was the middle of the flood. That's what that was. So yeah.
Last question for you. What is something that you will take with you from your high school experience into your future?
Something I'll take with me from my high school experience would be to just not take anything for granted and not just like coast by life. Just kind of take life one day at a time, I guess. Be in the moment, be there, be present, because if you're not, you'll wake up one day, you'll be a senior in high school, and it sucks. I'm just saying. That goes for you, Laura.
Oh, thanks. Alright, thank you so much for joining us, to both Deanna and Logan, for our very first episode of Senior Spotlight. Join us next time for episode 2 with 2 brand new seniors. Peace.